Irregular preterite tense, the triangle verbs. What are triangle verbs? The triangle verbs are a set of irregular verbs that all share the same set of endings. Some of the common triangle verbs are tener, estar, poder, hacer, poner, venir, decir, traer, saber, and querer. Okay, let's talk about the endings. I've already memorized the endings for regular AR and EIRR preterite tense verbs. Now I'm going to use those endings to help me create the endings for these irregular triangle verbs. I use a triangle to help me remember the endings. I place the triangle as you see below, and the areas where the triangle touches are identical to the regular ER, IR preterite tense endings. So the iste, imos, and ieron I can copy right over from the ER, IR endings that I've already memorized. The other two endings, the yo form and the he, she, usted form, I remember because they are just like the preterite tense AR endings. However, they don't have accents. In Spanish, all irregular preterite tense verbs do not have accent marks. That doesn't mean that other irregular verbs don't have accent marks, but in the preterite tense, all irregular verbs do not have accent marks. Now let's talk about the stems, that front part of each verb. Every triangle verb, in other words, all of the verbs that are going to use these endings, have an irregular stem. This means you will not be able to simply take the AR, ER, or IR off as we've done in the past. You will have to memorize the stem as well as the endings. Now these are the stems. Tener and estar are related. Tener is tuv, and then to create a star you simply add an es. Poder is pud, hacer is is, and we'll talk about that C and Z there in just a moment. Poner is pus, venir is vin, decir is dich, traer is trach, saber is sup, and querer is quis. Now, let's put the stems and the endings together. When we conjugate, first we're going to choose the verb that communicates what we want to say. Then we're going to have to take that irregular stem and then match it with the irregular ending that fits with whoever it is doing the action. For example, let's conjugate poder to say he could. The first step is to write down our stem, pud. Then, because we want it to say he could, we're going to take the O from the he, she, usted ending and add that to our stem. Now we have pudo, or he could. This process is the same for all of the triangle verbs. To conjugate hacer to we made, we would write the irregular stem is, and then we would add imos, the ending for the we form, and we have hicimos. Now there are two special rules you do need to remember. The first deals with that CZ in hacer. Because the stem is is, H-I-C, we need to remember that C changes pronunciation when it's followed by an O. So we'd have to change the C to a Z to preserve the pronunciation. So we have iso. Now the second rule deals with those stems that end in J. Stems like traer and decir, trach and dich, will drop the I in the ellos, ustedes form. So if the stem ends in a J, drop the I in they. Notice that trajeron and dijeron go J-E-R-O-N, even though the ending is an I-E-R-O-N. That's because we've dropped the I in the they. Now, all that's left is for you to memorize this. You need to use whichever method works best for you. If it's easiest to memorize rules and apply them, then follow the rules in this presentation. Memorize your stems and your endings, and then combine them to create what you want to say. If you prefer to memorize simply the meanings of the words, take hice, and remember, I did, I made. Hiciste, you did, you made. You can do that as well. Just make sure that you write out the conjugations and study them until they are automatic.